Tonight, an immigration arrest is sparking outrage. This video shows the moment that ICE detained a man who says he was an Afghan interpreter who spent years helping the U.S. military. His attorney says he was granted lawful parole into the United States back in 2024 through the CBP One app. He was taken into custody during what his attorney says was supposed to be a scheduled court hearing.
I work with the U.S. military. I was interpreter. I work with the U.S. military.
Do you have a warrant for his arrest?
Yes, we do.
Provide the warrant. Provide the warrant.
I work with the U.S. military. Just tell to the...
You can come with us, sir. You can
Provide the warrant.
You can come with us.
More than 3 years I worked with the U.S. military back in my home country. But I came here
Back up.
Thank you for your service.
to make a bit of life. I didn't know that it's going to happen like this for me. I never thought about this. I have all the evidence that I work with the U.S. military, everything. I was interpreter.
The man says the Taliban has been searching for him back home and claims a terror group already killed his brother at a family wedding. Tonight, the Department of Homeland Security says the man was unvetted when he was allowed into the United States via the CBP One app, adding, quote, "There's nothing in his immigration records indicating that he assisted the U.S. government in any capacity. All of his claims will be heard by a judge. Any Afghan who fears persecution is able to request asylum." Joining me now is this man's attorney, Brian McGoldrick, and the founder of the organization Afghan Evac, Sean Van Diver. Thank you both. Brian, let me begin with you here. What is your response to DHS saying that there is no evidence that your client was ever an Army interpreter?
That's just not true. There's plenty of evidence that was submitted long before that hearing. We have letters of recommendation from his employers that he was an interpreter at the Kabul Military Training Institute. This is all really just a ruse. You know,
You don't have his name.
he got CBP One appointment. He came to the port of entry in San Isidro, and he asked, "Can I come in the United States and claim asylum?" And CBP said, "Sure." And they gave him parole for 2 years. They gave him this notice to appear so that he could make his claim in court. And he was going about his business for almost a year. And we had filed everything we needed. And then we come to this hearing, and suddenly the government makes this motion to dismiss, saying, "Oh, no, this was an improvidently issued notice to appear."
Well, you've been in touch with him since he was taken into custody. I mean, what is he experiencing tonight? What is he saying?
Well, he's dismayed that he's in custody at all. He can't believe that this is how he's being treated after he spent years supporting the U.S. mission in Afghanistan at great personal risk to him and to his family. So he's just really dismayed and disappointed that this is what's happening to him.
And what is it?
And being in detention is, you know, it's pretty awful having to live in these cramped quarters. You know, one of the things he said to me was, "I never thought I would come to America and be put in a room where I have to sleep in the same room I go to the bathroom." He's just totally disgusted by what's happened.
Sean, your organization advocates for Afghans whose lives are at risk for helping U.S. forces. What was your reaction when you learned about this arrest?
Sure. Thank you for having us on tonight, Laura. Look, we're really upset. We're pissed off that folks who are following the rules after serving our country for so many years had to get themselves to the southern border, follow the legal process to get in through CBP One. And the thanks that we give them when they get here is the Trump administration indiscriminately sending ICE out to do 3,000 arrests a day. And they're getting swept up in this. It's absolute nonsense. It shouldn't be happening. That is not what veterans in this country want. That's not what Syed deserves. He followed every single thing that we asked him to do.
And I would assume also, just from what we've learned about his background and the fear, there is a different level of fear of him being returned to his home country.
Well, yeah. I mean, look.
Sure.
On one hand, DHS.
Go ahead.
On one hand, DHS is saying that it's safe to go back to Afghanistan. On the other hand, the State Department is issuing visa bans and they're issuing level 4 travel warnings. They're saying there's no way that we should be doing anything in Afghanistan. The administration needs to get its story straight, and they need to know where to look for this stuff. Clearly, if they looked into his background, they looked in the wrong place, because we see the paperwork for ourselves. We know that we know what he has turned in. We've read his asylum application. We know all of those things. And this is not how it's supposed to work. That's not the promise that we made them. President Trump talked a lot about these issues on the campaign trail. He brought out the 13 families from Abbey Gate onto the stage at the RNC. And this is the thanks that our wartime allies get. It's absolutely unconscionable. And what happens if they go back is they're hunted down and killed. His brother was killed. That's why he fled in the first place.
Sean Van Diver, Brian McGoldrick, thank you so much for telling us and giving us the information here. It's so important for us to understand. Thank you both.